every toilet paper dispenser is actually the corpse of a mummy, and you're actually using the mummy as toilet paper.
Dude, I love it.
To wipe, and there's a pair of scissors in every bathroom that once you're done wiping, you can clip it and then grab the bandages and throw them in the toilet.
Shefsky here, and welcome to a spooky episode of Fantasy House. Every week, a different special person gives us a tour of their imaginary home. It's surreal. It's weird. It's fun. It's the world's only NSFW, not safe for work real estate podcast. It's very much so like if you took, an HGTV or MTV Cribs kind of tour through people's homes show, but you brought it into a limitless cartoon Rick and Morty universe. Just love the experience. And every episode is brought to you by me, John Shefsky. I'm your local Southern California realtor and proud of it, man. I'm so grateful. I've got the most amazing clients. There's been so many weird changes since the pandy, from paperwork and different guidelines for showing houses, and even the way that we've adapted to how we go through escrows and the kind of market that we're in, which is, by the way, in SoCal, extremely strong right now. And my clients have been, almost all of them have just been a dream. They've done it with a smile. They've adapted with me, and we've just come out on top. I've gotten offers accepted for everybody lately, which is a lot. It's saying a lot because it takes the client and the realtor, it takes teamwork to get an offer accepted in SoCal in a hot market right now. And so you have to have your clients on board. There's got to be trust, and you've got to have a plan before you even go make that offer. And it really has been a pleasure working with so many amazing people. I'm so thankful because it's tough out there. I know a lot of people lost their jobs right now, a lot of hurting, a lot of fear. So I am not trying to show off. I'm just saying that I am freaking grateful that during all this stuff, I've had the privilege of being around amazing people and working with amazing people. So thank you. That's a shout out to, and I know a lot of my clients do listen to this because I make them listen to it. So I just want to say thank you guys publicly and let everyone know how proud I am of you and grateful I am for you. If you're listening to this and you want any help with real estate in any way, I would love to be of service, whether it's buying real estate, selling real estate, even if you're just curious about real estate, just about real estate. I'm not getting rid of that dad joke, by the way. That's just too much fun of a joke. I would just be happy to be of service. If you want to know why I love multifamily apartment building as a real estate investment, I would just be happy to sit down and do a Zoom with you. So let me know, fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com, or send me a message directly on my Instagram, JONSHEFSKY. Why not? I'm so excited about our guest today. I'm always excited about my guests because I'm an enthusiastic guy. If you get a little caffeine in me, I'm just like, whoa, I'm excited. But I am excited today because my guest is one of the hardest working people in show business. I've known this guy for like a decade. I've worked on things with him, and just he gives it his everything. If you turn him around, you'll be like, hey, there's a negative space where his butt cheeks are supposed to be. Well, that's because he's been working his ass off. On December 8th, his first special, Family Reunion, comes out on Amazon Prime. Oh yeah, Jeremiah Watkins is here, and he's about to get spooky with me for his Fantasy House Spooky Edition, Halloween Edition. Now, in the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this! Won't you take it all around over the moon of your fantasy house? You're the hostess with the mostest where you get it in your fantasy house. Get all the money for expensive construction. The only limit your imagination. Welcome, ghouls and goblins, to the Halloween special episode of Fantasy House. That's what I'll use for the actual intro. Straight into it. Straight into the great scary voice. Welcome, monsters, creatures, ghosts abroad. Listen to this podcast. What are you what's like your most get out of bed passionate thing right now?
Oh, like what am I excited to do? Get out of bed?
Yeah, that you're doing or to do.
One of them right now is something I've been doing over quarantine a lot is I've been playing way more piano. I started taking some piano lessons last summer, and then I was taking lessons and I was learning a little bit, and I was doing it all right, but like when the actual pandemic hit, that's when I started being able to practice for like hours, like an hour a day or like even up to 2 hours sometimes a day. And that's when I started developing faster. And I'm not by any means like even a good piano player now, but I at least like know like my chords and like my knowledge is growing. So that's exciting. That's something I've been doing.
That's cool that you had the Bill Murray Groundhog Day piano lessons going on since this thing started, and now you're all skilled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it feel good to be able to like have basic knowledge? Like I know like to be like able to do crazy stuff is always exciting, but for me, like my favorite skateboarding stuff has always been like, oh, that guy did the cleanest ollie off of those 7 steps. Or like on a guitar, like I could just play any song with just regular chords. I can't finger pick like Townes Van Zandt.
Yeah.
But like I'm just like hearing the basics done like with grace and joy is, I don't know, something simple I love about that.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's also being a comedian. I think you get cut a little bit more slack because you're a comedian. So it's like it's almost like it's a nice addition. Nobody's expecting me to be a great piano player because that's not my first priority. But it is like a nice little thing. I'd like to get to a point where people are like, oh, that was nice. Like I'd like to get there. So, working on that. I just want a couple. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Oh, okay.
Let me tell you something. You're so good at piano right now. You're being so humble that even without seeing you play the piano right now, I'm impressed. You sound great. It's good.
That's what I was looking for.
That's when you know you can rock an instrument, when someone's like, oh, you're playing that instrument? Because I can feel that it's pretty good when you are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm imagining hearing it and really enjoying it.
I am very sensitive to tones, and what I can tell you is just by the tone of your voice describing how you play, it's very mesmerizing, and I can't wait for it. I probably won't ever watch you play live, and I'll scroll past it when it's on Instagram or on the social medias, but I can tell you are a solid piano player.
Oh, dude. I will watch it on Instagram. I don't know when I'll be seeing it live. When they get a motherfucking vaccine? No. What are you most pessimistic about the world right now? And then after that, tell me what you're most optimistic about, because I like to kind of be lowered down and then brought back up with joy and positivity.
Most pessimistic right now about...
It could be anything. It could be personal. It could be society.
I mean, right now, just what I've been thinking just with what affects me personally the most, I think that comedians would like to think that clubs are maybe close to opening back up. I think it's going to be pretty long in LA. I think it's going to take a long time to get clubs like the Comedy Store back to where they were, because it was literally at the pinnacle, probably the busiest it ever was.
Oh, yeah.
So even to get halfway back to that, it's just going to take a while, and that's just something that I'm more being realistic about, because I don't think I'm being pessimistic even. I think it's more just like I hate to tell you guys, but be working on your other stuff in this meantime, in this downtime, because we're not going to be back full for a while. So just don't waste your time entirely. Be trying to work on some creative stuff. Whether, I don't know, that's why I've been working on music. It doesn't have so much to do with comedy at all, but it's more about being creative, and I think just being in a good headspace so you're open to writing new material or a script or something like that.
I think that's great. I mean, that's wisdom for anybody in any industry, but you being in comedy and now you've grown into, I've watched you since we were younger, grow into, you're in a leadership position now where you're one of the young, what do they call it on SNL? Like the fresh faces, like you're one of the new voices that's like, people are looking to you that have just started doing it, that are like, that guy, what he says means something, and they need to hear someone be honest with them, but not in, like you said, not in a pessimistic way. Like, hey guys, like, don't hold your breath and take this time to adapt and overcome, rather than be like, I want stand-up right now. Like, you can't have that. But what you can do is figure out what you're in control of and still work on your skills, right? Like, because they shut down open houses for real estate, and it was like, holy SHIT, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm trying to do it. I can just analogously say, like, in all of our lives, that this shit that comes along, you're like, this is not in our control. And as bad as you might want to be on stage right now, to listen to Jeremiah and know, hey, like, you might don't lose hope by expecting something, having expectations that are almost unreasonable, and then your hope's really gonna drop. Rather than, hey, it might take a little longer, but it will come back. But in the meantime, really use this time effectively, right? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, the people who, if you right now are saying to yourself, man, these last 6 months, 7 months, they flew by, and I don't really have anything to show for it. This is going to keep going on for a while. So get it together now. You have another 6 months to get your crap together and work on something creative and find something to try to better yourself, whether it's creatively or personally. Maybe you have some mental problems that you've been pushing away for a long time. Maybe start to work on that with your communication skills with your family or stuff. And this is stuff that I try to actually work on. My wife and I, we over communicate to avoid fights in the future, because
good for you.
If we don't do that, then stuff lingers and it's awkward for no reason. And just I don't know. And I try to do that with my friendships and people who are in my life, is just be very clear and direct, even if it's uncomfortable. It's this is how I'm feeling right now. Take it or leave it. But I need to let you know that. So if you think that I'm acting weird or tired or something around you, it's because of this thing that is on my mind right now.
I think that's so important to nip it in the bud right away too. Is that's healthy relationships in any way, you know. And it doesn't mean that you got to jump to the conclusions right away and be like, I'm upset, I feel entitled to something, someone upset me, and now I'm no. It means hey, you're not harboring and then being passive aggressive. I was talking to my wife the other day, some of the hardest times with relationships that some of us have, and I don't want to point any fingers at anybody, but people that I know in my family fighting that won't just, I tell my wife, pick up the fucking phone, just call, stop texting back and forth and beating around the bush. It's a simple negotiation of just write down the 3 things that everyone seems to be arguing about and talk about them. So that's cool that you and your wife are doing that, because I feel those of us that do that, we have much better relationships with people, even though sometimes it seems salty to be talking it up front and be I'm pissed about this, or so-and-so's pissed about this. They don't want to tell you, here's the deal. It's let's get that out of the way.
It saves a lot of grief in the future, though. It really does.
It could save a whole relationship, not just a lot of grief, the whole relationship.
Yeah. What I'm most optimistic about is my wife and I are pregnant with our first kid. So there's a kid on the way. So how could you not be optimistic about the future of new life coming into the world? You know what I mean?
That's amazing. That's congratulations, dude. So beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about the future, is hopefully by the time that they are around, they won't know this pandemic world for what it is. When they're going to school, in a few years from now or whatever, they will have hopefully, by then there's vaccines and all that stuff where everything is chill again. And
totally. There's got to be, first of all, there's got to be vaccines. I'm not a delusionally optimistic person. I'll face the facts, but I'm there's 46, it's been whittled down to 46 vaccines through all the hundreds that they're working on. And even if 2 or 3 of them come around out of that work out, there's going to be something, or treatments where it's oh, you got it. Here's your pill, take your pill, or they'll figure something out. And that's just for the
it'll just
virus.
be an awkward STD that you get now. It's ugh, I guess I shouldn't have been hanging out at that party like that. And then, you go to the doctor.
Like the old Chris Rock bit, pour some tussin on there. He's my AIDS is acting up. The old Rock bit. I mean, that's where I think they'll put it. And I'm hoping that they learn enough from all this stuff too, in science and government and all that stuff, to be better prepped for all of it. But I mean, my kids are 2 and 4, and I don't even know how they're going to remember this, because their situation, thank God we have a house. We're not in a crazy, awful spot. We're not homeless. They're around, we interact all day and all night. So to them,
they got to be loving it. They get to see their parents all the time at that age. They're sweet.
Are you being surprised, or do you already know gender?
No, I know gender, but we'll see.
I like the way you said that. Believe me, I know gender when I see it.
That was the first thing I asked. As soon as conception happened, I was like, "Hey, what are you?"
You tape the note to the edge of your penis. Just give it to somebody in there, and we'll get it back soon. See what it says.
Pass it on up to HR. All right, send it back down. Let me know.
How'd they get the crayon? That's my question. Yeah, that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I had so many people when we got pregnant that were just like, you're going to feel this way about it. You're going to feel that way about it. It's going to be like this. And I was just like, can everyone stop telling me that? So I will not do that to you, but I love it.
Yeah. The only thing that is funny to me, which I've already gotten a couple of these, is like a couple dads that I've talked to. They're like, get ready for this. I'm like, all right, dude, just calm down. Like I literally just announced that it's happening. You don't need to be like, and this is going to happen.
Yeah,
and
dude.
this is going to happen. And you better watch out because things are changing. It's like, dude,
Thanks.
I know things will be different, but you don't have to tell me like everything's different now. Like it'll be a gradual new adventure. Like that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, it'll be an adaptation and it'll be a slow thing, you know?
Totally. You quiet down the noise from the outside. Don't let them, even the good stuff when they're like, you're going to love it. I'm like, my mom would tell me like, you're going to be such a good dad. I was like, don't even fucking tell me that, Mom. Just let me soak in this moment. I'm tripping out.
Right.
I'm freaking out, man.
Right.
Oh, dude. All I can say is from my personal experience, like the level of like purpose that it gave me and the way that I felt the kind of love that I feel for my kids is like a thing that I'm like, it's whether it's evolutionary or spiritual, however you want, whatever direction you want to go. My experience with it is just like, I feel like my kids have always been my kids. Even when I was a little kid, before I knew I was going to have kids, I was like, you were always my sons. Like you were always, they've always been like, it's just this weird feeling of love and like, almost like the background you have on your right now on your Zoom background. Like, it's just like this like weird mystical, like it's so big. I can't explain it. So. That was the X-Files hummed really badly. Anyways, I'm stoked for you. Congratulations. It's very cool. I would like to get Halloweeny now that we've been sentimental and real. Let's get Halloweeny.
Let's get Halloweeny.
Let's get Halloweeny.
Fantasy House Podcast. Welcome all spirits to the Fantasy House Podcast.
Oh,
hopefully you come in peace and not in mourning.
Don't come in anything unless you're told you can. That's the big deal here.
Unless you're Jeremiah in his wife. That is the only reason you should be coming.
To produce more little Jeremiahs.
More spirits.
We got to get that next generation here. Someone's got to take over the shift, right?
Yep.
Let's go to your fantasy house. Let's do this.
All right. Well, John, I imagine that I have a pumpkin SUV in the driveway.
The SUV itself is a pumpkin?
The SUV, it's almost Cinderella style.
Yeah.
But it seats not just for kids, but also for friends. It's a suburban style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Lots of seatbelts, lots of rows.
Lots of seatbelts. And it's sporty. It's as sporty as a pumpkin can get. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what that means. A sporty pumpkin? I'm like, it's aerodynamic. Is it sleek? Is it a sleek?
It's not sleek because it's still a pumpkin, but it's got like it's got some flair on it. It's got for the window, it's got one of those things where it's like a color changing jack-o'-lantern mouth.
Yeah.
Where like the glass it goes from just being glass to like the mouth of a pumpkin when it's carved and stuff like that. And when you light the top of the pumpkin on fire, that's how it accelerates. So it's not the most user-friendly car because you do have to light it on fire every time to start it up.
It's quite a warning.
Yeah, but so it's basically you light it like a wick, like the pumpkin vine is like a wick, and then like whenever it gets, you have to wait like 10, 15 seconds. So everybody has to be in the car, and you have to close all the pumpkin doors. And then once it like gets to the wick, gets to the bottom, it's like, and then you think it's gonna drive. It's not gonna drive. It goes back to the future style.
Yes.
Lifts up, and then I can fly anywhere with friends or family in the car.
I love it.
So it's pretty cool in that regard. That's just the drive. That's just what like the driveway is. And I have at least a 5-car garage at this house. But only one is in the shape of a pumpkin. Like, that's clearly a spot that's carved out of the garage. The other ones are more traditional squares.
Yeah.
But there is one indention or a cutout of a pumpkin on one side.
I love that.
But the very outside gate actually looks like a cemetery. It's
spooky.
Very spooky. It actually looks like tombstones, but they just all say different names on them.
Like the fence is a bunch of tombstones with names on them?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I was trying to avoid that it was going to be graves of other people, but I think that I accidentally I bought a bad house. I bat a bought house.
Why'd you bat a bought house?
I bat a bought house. The real estate agent was a bat, and I bought it from him.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't trust bats in any industry right now.
No.
No bats about it.
No bats about it. We're the best real estate company there is. Come to the Valley. Buy bats.
I've done a few deals with a few bats. They're all right, but I'd rather talk about it off air. There's some things they do that very offensive, very frustrating to work with.
No, the Tombstones are they're different companies that of the different food and stuff that I like. So there's like a Taco Bell Tombstone, there's like a Chick-fil-A Tombstone, and there's Jack in the Box Tombstone, and then it gets more specifically with just companies that I like that are like random taco stands around Los Angeles. There's an IHOP Tombstone, Denny's for sure.
What's your favorite thing at Denny's?
Oh, the biscuit and gravy combo.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be $2 biscuit and gravy. Now it's $4 biscuit and gravy. I'm not mad, but I am. And the Tombstones go around the perimeter of the entire property.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I pay my rent free, is from the advertising of the Tombstones. I advertise my house.
Oh, dude, you corporate whore influencer, and you're
dude.
Taco Bell.
I live in a Taco Bell house, dude.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah, but it's rent free. It looks kind of ugly on the outside. I'm not gonna lie, because it is a perimeter of Tombstones with different companies on them. But I'm making bank for free.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But that's what's nice about it, is that's what just the perimeter is, okay? But then once the gates open, you pull your car in, right?
My pumpkin.
And it goes up this winding hill, right? Almost something that you would see in a Tim Burton film. It goes up.
Yes, that's what I'm imagining. Super tall.
Very tall. And on the top is this big, big mansion. Now, there is, like the White House, ways to escape this mansion, just in case things turn on their side. And in the middle of this graveyard, essentially, that people just think is a cemetery, they never really put it together that it's my place. They just like, that's the weirdest cemetery I've ever seen. Why would anybody want to bury their family members there? They question themselves that. So there's grave sites all along the lower part of the property. And on one of them is what looks like somebody's in the middle of putting a coffin in the ground. And in that coffin is the staircase, a secret passage that goes all the way up to the mountains. That is the real estate of the house. So just in case things get a little crazy up there, you can escape through the coffin at the very bottom of the gravesite at the bottom.
Dude, I love it. Spooky. What a spooky way to escape, too.
Yeah. So, you drive, you get to the top, and that's where you see the garage, like as part of the 5-car garage that I told you about.
Yeah.
Right. And when you park There's ample parking. It's almost like a cul-de-sac kind of thing. But the cul-de-sac has candy corn all along rather than cones to keep you like from driving off the cliff.
Yeah.
There's just candy corn on because they're orange and yellow, like cones in traffic places to keep you from inside. And also, if you ever bump it with your car, it explodes. You can get out and you just eat it real quick.
Oh, Fifi Dosh would love that. Just candy corn, just chilling wherever you want.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Oh, dude. I love it.
Yeah. So when you answer the door, my butler is a werewolf. So he is usually good most nights of the month. But every once in a while, there is that full moon, and that's when he goes on sabbatical and I give him vacation time. But other than that, he's a really hard worker. He's really good, and he's open about it. He's not one of these closeted werewolves who don't tell you. He tells you, he's like, listen, I know there's a full moon coming up, okay? And I would like to tell you that I'm going to need some time off. I don't want to endanger anybody around here. And I would appreciate your commitment to me as I have given you my commitment over the years to you and your family. And I will need 3 days sabbatical so I don't tear your family from limb to limb. And I shall return on the following Tuesday, and everything will be back to normal. Does that sound okay? And I'd say, of course, Sebastian. No problem. His name's Sebastian.
Sebastian the werewolf. Mm-hmm. And do you ever tell him, like, you don't have to tell me that every month. Just say what days you need off. Just look at the lunar calendar and tell me.
I try to, but he's one of those guys who over-explains. Yeah. He's hard to get out of a conversation with. Great work ethic. Great work ethic. But really hard just to get out of a conversation. Once you're in it with him, you're stuck. 5 minutes minimum on the phone with this guy, even when you're really busy.
So you just let him go at it, and you're like, sure, just send me the dates.
Yeah. At this point, I will have an assistant that I can pawn him off to. Like, yeah. Send Jennifer your dates. Not a problem.
Thanks for letting me know. Go for it, Sebastian.
And he keeps telling me every month. I keep trying to pawn him off, but he's a nice guy at heart, so I entertain the idea of the conversation.
That's very kind of you. You're very, very cool like that.
Yeah.
So let's go inside. Is Sebastian going to welcome us in person form? Obviously, right?
Yes, in person form. Yeah, he'll be on vacation by the time he turns into a werewolf.
That's probably better that way. I don't want me or the Fantasy House crew to suffer any kind of wolf attack.
Okay. Now, to get to the other side of the wall of the entrance of my house, you will have to be killed.
Well, it's been a great episode. Thanks for listening, guys.
No. This is how it works, okay? Your body is going to leave on one side, right? And you'll be killed. And then your soul, I have a directional stream of the soul rather than it going straight up to heaven or straight to hell. It's actually a stream of consciousness into another body on the other side of this wall. So you get to be a different person while you're visiting my house. It's not in your normal body. And
whoa,
you get to pick a wall of avatars of bodies to choose from.
Dolph Lundgren, here I come.
Yeah, there's avatars and different bodies and prototypes of anybody who you could ever want to be. You could be a ripped dude with tons of muscles, or you could be like somebody who is maybe you're a short guy and you want to be tall, or maybe you're way too tall of a person and you just want to see what it's like to be short, or maybe you want to be a black guy and you're a white guy, or you want to be a Mexican guy, or you want to be an Asian guy. You want to experience what that's like to walk in somebody else's shoes. You can do that in my fantasy house.
Wow. I probably would actually, if it was that simple, I would swap genders if it's just for a few hours. As long as I can get back before the period hits. Kind of like our werewolf Sebastian. I was like, if I can just get back before the full moon, right, I'll do it.
Have they, in all those gender swap movies, like those Freaky Fridays and all those kind of things, did they ever address that? Like, they never address the period that's inevitably coming.
I don't think it's inevitably coming.
It's inevitably coming.
Oh, dude! They just cut to that scene in The Shining with the blood coming down the hallway, and then the Jack snapping. Both those things, yeah. But I would swap genders. I would just to see what it was like.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Like, I want to go through your house as a woman.
If it's a test drive, why not?
Yeah.
Test drive genders? Come on.
I remember Beavis and Butthead saying when I was a kid, like, if I had her body, I'd never leave the house. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it would be cool to just be like a beautiful woman for a second. Or maybe not even a beautiful woman. Maybe a woman that like is really taking shit and having to really know math really well because she's like not hot. And then nothing on that. And then have you ever heard that old Daniel Tosh joke where he goes like, being an ugly woman's like being a man. You're going to have to work. It's an old Tosh joke. Oh, dude. No, I'd swap genders and just see what it's like. So I'm coming through your house as a lady.
Okay.
And
cool.
That'd be fun.
The entryway is actually all water beds that you have to walk through to get through on the other side. So you're stepping on water beds, which, by the way, if you're just trying to come in after a long day at work, this house is really annoying.
I was going to say, it sounds exhausting.
This house is exhausting. The fact that you have to drive all the way up and then like you have to walk through waterbed room just to get to the foyer. It's a mess, but I didn't design it. I just purchased it. So there's water beds you have to walk through, and it's really difficult. If you've ever tried to stand on a water bed, the weight is all shifting and everything. And also the 80s called, they want their gimmick back. And you walk through it to the other side, and then finally there's some sense of normal, right? You have your option of going to either the kitchen, which is to your left, which has basically blood punch that's out on the table, very Halloween themed at all times of the year, since this is a Halloween themed episode.
Yep. Blood punch. Don't spill it on your white shirt.
John, did you have your period again? No, it's the blood punch. Sorry, Mom.
And then the sitcom audience goes, Mom, we have blood punch. Cue the laughter.
Applause. So the blood punch is out for whoever would like it. But there's also a water fountain that I would still steal this idea from Mr. Deeds. They had Hawaiian punch in one of the water fountains. Mm-hmm. It's not that. It's just Barks root beer.
Ooh, I'd rather have Barks root beer, actually. I would rather have root beer than Hawaiian punch.
Dude, for sure. Barks root beer coming out of a water fountain? Come on.
Dude, ice cold, too?
Ice cold. And it really gives you that bite. Like, it's got to be really, 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 whatever it is, has to be charged. I used to have to change those out. I used to work at a restaurant where I'd have to change the is it nitrous?
I think so. But some sort. I just say the bubblies.
The bubblies. They have the bubblies containers that were like underneath that you'd have to like turn.
Yeah.
And hook up and stuff like that. They've got to be charged otherwise. Have you ever had non-charged soda that's in the big containers? Have you ever
like
had
when
that?
It comes in the box and they have to hook it up? Because I worked at a handful of those kind of places where we had to hook up the box. I feel like I have, like where it's just syrup and like the weird chemical water.
It's some of the worst taste because it's all syrup. It's just literally all syrup, sugar, and just all the non-natural things. And you take a sip and within a second you're like, oh, well,
something's not wrong here.
Yeah, something's not right.
And I'm going to definitely complain about it if I taste it there because I remember I turned into a woman. So I'm going to be a lot more like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And how do I complain? This is the first bad Yelp review for somebody's fantasy house.
Hey, can I talk to the manager at your house, please? Thank you. Thank you so much. And then I'll be like, you got to talk to Sebastian. He just took some time off for work. I don't know if you'll be able to talk to anybody or not. So
he's just outside. It's fine. Oh, yeah. Maybe he would send me to go talk to Sebastian. He'd be like, you know what? Go talk to Sebastian. See what happens to you, motherfucker. Okay, so I just drank Barks root beer out of a water fountain. Super stoked on that.
every toilet paper dispenser is actually the corpse of a mummy, and you're actually using the mummy as toilet paper.
Dude, I love it.
To wipe, and there's a pair of scissors in every bathroom that once you're done wiping, you can clip it and then grab the bandages and throw them in the toilet. The suction is really good in this house too. If you've ever looked at one of the those bank deposits that you used to go to back in the day where you would.
Oh yeah, I used to work at a bank. We had those. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
don't stick your genitals in those. That's what I always
used to work
say.
at a sperm bank. Same thing. But anyways,
very popular sperm bank. We were booked up 6 months in advance.
I mean, I mean the drive-through line was crazy. So that's just in the bathroom. The dead mummies, the corpse of the mummies that are basically sprinkled around as human toilet paper dispensers.
I love that, and I gotta wonder if that even exists. That seems like a Spencer's Gift, like $1 billion idea. Like they sold out this Halloween, or one of those. What's that ad you get on Facebook for that one company, Wayfair or whatever, that has all the silly stuff? You're like, dude, a mummy toilet paper dispenser that's just part of the mummy's wrap is hilarious and genius. So thank you for bringing that one. That one's great.
Yep, of course.
Is there any do we eat anything since I drank that root beer? I'm just curious since we're in like that, bathroom and then kitchen and
yeah, there's a lot of appetizers and stuff that are like kind of readily available because I like to be able to entertain guests when they come over.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things where the fridge is always stocked and full, and there's always cookies that are coming fresh out of the oven when it's at my house. But it's not hot inside because the air circulation is really good, and we really keep it at a 69, 70 degrees like at all times. Sometimes even 68 degrees. We keep it nice and crisp in there.
You like it that crisp in your house right now too?
Only in hotel rooms.
Okay.
I treat myself in hotel rooms. I'll get nice and cool. But in
wearing a sweatshirt in the summertime, you're like, it's freezing cold in here, and I love it. An ascot wrapped around your neck.
Yeah.
It's July 13th, man. What are you doing? You're like, I'm freezing my ass off. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, it's a luxury. It really is. As you treat yourself to AC and just
you sleep better, right? It's good.
Sleep better. It made me start. That's why I yawned. I started thinking about. In the hotel rooms that I go to, when I used to go on the road a lot, I would make the AC super cold in the room and just get all the blankets as much as I could.
Oh yeah,
just sleep so hard.
Oh yeah,
So I'm going to have that in this house for sure. Where at some points people think, "Is this a morgue that I'm in?" And it's like, no, this is just the master bedroom where my wife and I sleep. We like it very cold in here. So yeah, there's food, there's apples and different things like that, but not with razor blades because that's I want to actually eat the apples, so there's not going to be razor blades.
Okay, thank you.
And stuff like that. But there is wolf jerky, which Joe Rogan actually hunted, and he sent me in a gift package set, with the cellophane and the wrapper. It's like an edible arrangement, like with the fruit sticks hanging out, but it's like wolves and different and turkeys and different like man-made meats that were cut and stuff like that and hunted. It's just like on display for you to just pick out like a rod of meat out of this.
Love it. Meat rod. Wolf jerky, new from Meat Rod.
Yeah. So that's really good. So that's enough of the kitchen. Okay. But the master bedroom is somewhere upstairs away from everything else. And it's just like kind of basic compared to the rest of the house. It's just simple. It's just a California king size bed, just right in the middle of the room with lots of walking space around. So if you want, you can launch yourself on a trampoline from jumping outside of it into the bed. And there's also some basketball hoops right above the bed that you can use as a backboard and stuff like that.
So you could jump on the trampoline and shoot hoops? Dude, they have that at one of these indoor trampoline places I take my son to.
Dude,
it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, I've jumped on them before. They used to have slam ball. Do you remember slam ball back in the day?
It sounds familiar.
It was a sport on like ESPN2 or something for a very limited time.
Yeah.
It didn't catch on, but it was really fun to watch because you'd see these guys who were probably pretty good at basketball, but they were more acrobatic. It was guys like Jamar, who maybe he's not that good at basketball, but he's so athletic and acrobatic that he can do flips and he can jump around people and stuff that, where that sport would have been made for somebody like him.
That's why I love watching the Globetrotters. Like they're you just watch them have their skills, and like they're maybe not the best basketball players, standard basketball, but you watch them do stuff that you're like, I don't think a lot of basketball players can do half the shit they can do.
Yeah, it's just like a different skill set.
Why is it so hard to get new sports started? Because I remember ESPN2 when I was a kid for roller hockey, they had beach hockey and a couple like weird like sports, and they were so cool. And it's like it's so hard to get a new sport.
I think people get set in their ways, and they're like, no, that's just a knockoff of this and this. They're kind of judgy about it, I think that they are like, we have our sports, we're good, there's enough going on. But I'm sure that there's another sport out there that hasn't been invented yet that's going to be amazing.
They came up with Red Bull does a good job at like pushing the limits, and they came up with this thing. I don't know if you've seen it. They get these guys in like their hockey gear basically, but they go on a cross track, like motocross kind of tracks. So they don't have a stick and a puck. They race, but they're wearing hockey skates and full gear and everything. They're suited up like they're going to play hockey, but they skate like down these slopes and around these turns. It's like watching motocross, but like
that's pretty cool.
And it's actually, I think they're doing pretty well with it. I mean, I've seen it for the past few years with like packed people all around watching it, and I'm like, hey, so maybe once in a while you get a sport where you're like, we don't have this one yet.
I just saw a new sport online that was a bunch. I don't know what country it was. I think it was a bunch of Asian dudes it was basically a King of the Hill, but you had to hold on to this one pole there was like a little flag on top. Okay.
Yeah.
But there were 40 people. There's 20 people on each team, and they're all running towards this pole, trying to climb each other to get on top of it. And everybody's wearing helmets and stuff.
Because they're stepping on each other's heads as they're getting up?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It was insane.
It's called capitalism. It's a great sport. Doing real well. People play to the death, you know.
Attack your opponent by any means necessary, and you will get to the top eventually. Will some fallen soldiers be on your heels? Yes, they will.
What's the meaning behind the flag once you get there? Nobody knows. Most of the people are upset once they get there. Now back to you in the studio.
But dude, it's fascinating and there was like big crowds of people watching it too, because it's exciting, but it's also like, oh, is somebody going to get, there's so many factors here. Like, is somebody going to get hurt? This is really dangerous. Like, oh, that's so cool. That guy's climbing over it looks like a lot of those zombie scenes in movies, you know, when they start to swarm.
Totally.
But it's just a dude on top just trying to hold his territory, and people are pulling his legs down, trying to get him off.
And he's high up, right? He's not like 5 feet up.
Yeah.
He's 15 feet up or 20 feet
up. By
up.
the time the people are all around this pole, it's not that high up anymore, because they'll just fall like only a few feet.
It's like ants. It's like ants. They're literally just piled on top. Wow, I gotta watch this. I gotta find this now. I'm gonna Google Asian guys climbing poles and see if anything good comes up.
Yeah, let me know the Pornhab results. Let me see what.
I was gonna say I couldn't find it on ESPN, but RedTube had a few suggestions.
They had a lot of categories, surprisingly. Asian Ant-Man? What is this?
Oh, dude. All right, so
outside of the living room is, I don't know if you remember those old Batman cartoons where the Joker would have a fun house where there would be a big tongue slide sometimes outside of these carnival or areas, or these weird mirror houses. There is a tongue that goes outside of the living room that is a water slide that goes right into the pool that's in the backyard.
Hell yeah, I'm sliding down it for this episode, down the tongue. Yeah!
Oh, sure. Woo! And the pool is in the style of it's clear water. It's really clear water. But every 30 minutes, you know that scene at the end of Carrie, where the pig blood is dumped on her at prom?
I know of that scene. I've actually never seen Carrie.
There's a big bucket that is at my house that pours red into the water, and it's like food coloring and stuff. And it's like an outdoor like themed water park kind of thing. But like once you're in it, like the water is like red for like 5 minutes, but then it dissolves and then it's back to being clear.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Very spooky. Angelo used to have a joke. He'd be like, "I thought you guys were going to pour pig's blood on me." He used to say that at certain shows, like really bad. Like,
dude, his references were so dumb.
Oh, dude. He was such a pop culture nerd. It was insane the stuff he would bring up and reference. Just St. Elmo's Fire references, and you're just like, what the?
You're like, a lot of these people here aren't like in the know of that's that movie, but it's a great riff.
I used to joke. Oh, dude, yeah.
My favorite, one of my favorite stand-up on the spot jokes that he said he got giraffes as a suggestion from the audience, and he was trying to improvise a joke off of it. He goes, giraffes. Aren't giraffes really like the minute bowls of the animal kingdom?
Dude, so good. His timing was insane, impeccable. Oh, it's so funny. Is there anything else we got to see in your fantasy house? So far, it's just been mind blowing. Just before we wrap it up.
I mean, you get the gist. There's a lot of rooms that we didn't really have time to get to, but there's a lot of rooms that, as me as the owner, when I purchased it, I'm finding as the longer that I live there. Like I opened one door underneath the staircase once, and it was just a monkey that was in there experimenting, doing things with like a chemistry set. Yeah. And then I quickly closed the door, and I haven't opened it since.
I love that. What a way to end it. What do you want people to find you? What do you want them to check out?
Oh, people can find me easily if they want to online at Jeremiah Stand Up. Jeremiah Watkins, I post a lot, probably too much. But I've got my debut 1 hour special coming out on December 8th, and you can pre-order that now on my website. And if you want to wait till December 8th, it'll be available to rent on Amazon Prime, Video on Demand, and a lot of other platforms through Comedy Dynamics. So I'm really excited for people to check that out.
That's so cool. It's going to be on Amazon Prime, dude. Everyone has Prime, so that's so perfect, dude.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
We're proud of you. What's it going to be called? Is that
Family Reunion?
Family Reunion?
Yeah, okay. I just put out the trailer, so people can watch the trailer either on my website or on my Instagram. It's pretty accessible. So.
Yeah, dude, I'll share it, and hopefully everybody that hears this will share it and be stoked on it. That's great, dude. I'm stoked. Hell yeah! Thanks for doing this.
Hopefully you enjoyed my acid trip of a spooktacular fantasy house with John Shefsky.
Dude, I loved it. I feel like a hashtag blessed guest getting to go there. My favorite thing. I'm sure you know my favorite thing. That mummy toilet paper thing is so funny to me, and it's so genius too. It's so like right in front of you too, where you're like, of course, like
it's like we always use the toilet paper for the mummies, but never the mummies for the toilet paper,
folks. Like, it's a full relationship. It goes both ways. Oh, dude, so great. Thanks for doing this.
Just a mummy with skid marks all over his body. Like, these humans are really coming after me lately.
Yeah, I had they preserve the body for thousands of years, but they really just smell like shit. So gross.
So strange.
Just poop wrapped all around the poor mummy. Oh, so gross. Had to go there. We had to go there.
We did it, dude.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great Halloween season. I hope you're enjoying everything. And if this is your first time listening to Fantasy House, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, give us a review. Whatever review, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever stars you want to give us, you feel we deserve. Jeremiah's holding up his hand. He's doing a 5. He's doing a 5. But really, this is America, damn it. You give us whatever review you want. Just take the time to give us a review. And also, if you're a regular listener, you're already subscribed, you've already given us a review, could you hit the share button? Send this to someone in the email. Let someone know, hey, you got to check out Fantasy House. It's my buddy John Shefsky podcast, and you should hear it. That kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. I just wrote the pitch for you. All right, you guys, be silly and have fun. Have a great Halloween. Mwah!